Okay, guys, what was the most memorable moment of Friday's show, Mraz?
I think it has to be Badlands Booker. Not Badlands Booger. That would be an awkward name. Eating a ton of donuts and then picking up that box of Joe and watching the beads of sweat drip off his head as boiling a hot coffee went down his mouth. It was unbelievable to see in person. And really what we had seen in the studio previous Wienership, seeing a crowd get to experience that was really cool.
What are the odds we have Booker come down for the second annual Bob's Bar Show to eat Entenmann's donuts because a few weeks ago you basically made oral love to a donut and Entenmann's was like, wow, this guy really likes him. And we formed a friendship partnership with Entenmann's and we were able to procure a number of boxes. What are the odds that happens on National Donut Day?
I was stunned to the news when Badlands said
Karma.
that. Badlands said it like we were inviting him because it was National Donut Day. We had no idea.
He ends up eating 25 donuts in a 5-minute period, plus an entire box of coffee. Dunkin' Donuts for parties serves its coffee in boxes with handles.
He wants the whole box.
He chugged it out of the box. Everybody to a man after Badlands left, and he stayed for the rest of the day, stayed for the rest of the show rather, and then left maybe an hour after the show was over.
Right.
Couldn't stop raving about what a great guy he was, that he was just the most normal, gracious guy, so much so that he left Bob's Bar, bestowed upon the bar his drinking boot, his famous drinking boot. It's a glass boot that he chugs everything out of on his YouTube page, Badlands Chugs, which has 3 million subscribers. That's now become his calling card, even more so than the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and he signed it for Bob and Bob's Bar, knowing that it was a huge place of Badlands fandom on the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's what he said. He looked around at the Giants, the Yankees stuff, the Rangers stuff. Said, if you guys are watching me every 4th of July, I need to have something of mine here for you guys as a tribute to that. It was such a... My dad was blown away by the gesture. Blown away. Loved it once Badlands Booker back for other holidays where he's not eating.
He's the best.
And I couldn't tell. He had a big, heavy-duty black carrying case with him that had the boot and his camera equipment in there. And I couldn't tell if it was for the camera and the boot got stuffed in or it was for the boot and the camera just found a little corner to be traveled with.
I feel like it was for the boot.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like traveling with a Stanley Cup. You need to make sure you only touch it with gloved hands. Badlands is just amazing. He's amazing in every way, and he's such a showman, but he's also so kind-hearted. It's so nice to be associated with him because he's just a great guy. He's just awesome. AB, what was your most memorable moment?
You know, I could go the sappy way here, DA, and say that my 2 kids bonding with one Taylor Mraz was the best part of Friday.
That was cool.
Not going to go that far, though. I'm going to go with the other Schwartz moment, and that's when the West Babylon Eagle was firing T-shirts and they just all landed on Schwartz, which changes a huge narrative of this show where we thought that Schwartz was out there hunting for souvenirs. It sounds like they hunt him. They find him. He doesn't want them necessarily, and they just end up in his hands. Now, Pete did have a counter to that, and it doesn't necessarily make sense scientifically, but he did more than once say, I got this from my son, Jared, the knack of catching these things. I don't think genetics work backwards like that from son to dad. But I'm just going to assume that we were too mean for Pete for too long, that he doesn't want all of these freebies. They just end up knocking him on the head, falling into his lap, and he just takes them because he's too nice.
The Schwartz Redemption Tour continues. It's an amazing thing to behold. Pete the Body, what was your most memorable?
There's 2. I think I think Badlands downing the box of Joe was just a sight to behold. Just seeing
piping hot.
Oh, just standing right there and watching the angle and just everything with that. That was one. The other thing was, I think, Connor's Canadian bacon. That was excellent because he played to the crowd. He did the typical wrestler heel and played to the crowd with the all the Rangers stuff. He really played that excellent, even though he got only 1.5 oinks. But it was a beautiful display of taking what a punishment and using it to his advantage.
I am going to say, and all those were really good, I'm going to say Connor as the frozen pizza is my most memorable because we've only seen Connor in incidents where he's comfortable, environments where he's comfortable. He comes into work and he wears his little zip-up sweatshirt. He has the jeans on and his hair's nice, and he comes in smiling. What do you need me to do? Yeah, I'll edit audio for you. Who do you need me to book? Yep, I'll make a phone call for you. Can you pull this, Connor? Yep, no problem. Like, Connor's the ultimate no problem guy. I got it. No problem. You got it, DA. No problem. Always smile on his face. You got it, DA. Yep, Canadian bacon. Yeah, you got it, DA. And Friday was panic. It was a panicked, uncomfortable Connor Green. And then he sits in that little kitty tub and he's trying to put on the face of it's going to be okay because he's wearing the pizza outfit. But you can see the panic in his eyes. And he's uncomfortable. He doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know. He's not used to looking like an idiot like us. He's not used to putting his credibility on the line like we have. We've shot our credibility 1,000,000 times over, but he hasn't yet. And here's Connor sitting in a baby pool having tomato sauce dumped on him. And Craig goes, ooh. And then Mraz is dumping the cheese on him. It's embarrassing. Then Taylor comes around and starts flipping pepperonis in his face. Ooh. And the dough is sagging over his head like a sad dog. And then we dump the ice on him. So he's freezing. Mraz then throws the cheese and the sauce under his shirt so it's sticking to his actual skin. Ooh. Ew. And the visual, it was so colorful. It was reds popping and whites popping and yellows popping. It was so visual that I'll never forget him sitting in that tub. And then everybody felt so bad for him. Like, boy, we've really ruined you. We've really humiliated you that your sisters were like, where can we take you? We'll make sure you get a shower. Where do you need to go? We got to make sure we clean you off. That we had basically embarrassed the guy, shamed him so badly that everybody felt bad.
And Justin, our listener, had brought Canadian bacon to flip on him and top off the pizza as well.
Justin, our listener, brought Canadian bacon.
What a twist.
So good. What a day it was. I have a feeling, guys, that every day this week we should do another segment to relive what happened because we also don't know. Bogusch left around noon probably.
No, I think it was close to like 1:30, 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little longer.
I think I left at 2 and you had left just before me. Bilotti left around that same time?
A little before you guys.
The world that transpired after we all left at Bob's Bar deserves a deep dive because a number of listeners stayed.
Right.
More people came. A hockey game was watched at night. Pizza was delivered. There was a Taco Bell run.
Yeah. That Taco Bell delivery, pizza delivery, yep.
There were shots taken.
There are costume changes. Pictures from that night. Same people in their Ranger garb for said hockey game.
Bayou Bear, Upside Down Mike, Mraz. Mraz claims he took 41 drinks down that night. And at least one listener, Dan from Mechanicsburg, PA, slept on Mraz's parents' couch. Okay, so we were closer to Project X than we actually realize.
Yeah, it was. Bob was handing out Bob's Bar coasters to every listener as they left.
I didn't get one of those.
There became weird goodie bags of boxes of donuts into coasters, into signed autographs by Bob and Upside Down Mike. Things got real hairy as the night took a turn.
And it's only going to get better / worse because more people want to come now because of how well this went. So, like, it's going to get exponentially, again, better, grosser, however you want to describe it. It's going to increase in some direction every year.
It might end up being like Radio Row.
It's only too bad that Long Island's not in the middle of the country where everybody could more easily get there.
Then it wouldn't be a Long Island, DA.
I realize that, but it would be great if it was more geographically centered. Aside from that, I'm going to tell you this right now. There's no better place to party for America than Bob's Bar. It has everything that you want. It has a bar. It has kind of no rules and regulations on how much you drink, when you start, when you end.
Just no narcotics.
No narcotics.
The lone rule.
Parking's free all around the block. No problem. If you don't get a bathroom inside Bob and Nancy's, go down the block to Mraz's sister's. If that doesn't work, there's a stream, a cup down to the end of the block, or a creek or something.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up going on the hospices next to the pool at the end of the first period, so things had gotten broken.
Yeah. There's a pool if needed. There's just food that just gets delivered at all hours of the night. Just a Taco Bell run, middle of the day. Who knew?
Yeah, I didn't know there were 48 tacos put in front of us, and me and Caserta were plowing through as we all had bet the Cardinals money line.
There's gambling. There's wagering. There's sports on every TV.
Celebrity sightings.
There's live music. There's tape music. There's what's there not to?
2 ice cream truck
Caserta
appearances.
was there longer than I was, by the way.
Greg Caserta does headlines, updates for CBS Sports Radio. And inside the Odyssey family, he stayed at Mraz's parents' house longer than Mraz did.
And then came here to work on Saturday. He's working here right now. I don't know that he's been home since Thursday night / Friday morning.
Let's pull those air checks from Saturday.
There was not one but 2 ice cream truck performances, including Mraz delivering ice cream out of the passenger side of the truck.
Yes, and at that time, by the way, DA had broken off to a meeting. There were a lot of chants. DA's napping.
Yeah.
We were getting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had departed again. Unfortunately, unlike last year when I actually did pass out because I had a couple of drinks after the show, I didn't drink after Friday's show. I actually just had a meeting, a phone meeting about the Sunday BetQL show.
And the ice cream hand pulled up.
I love the idea way better that, DA passed out again and sprawled out somewhere instead of just taking a meeting.
We were very disappointed when DA walked back. I was like, meeting? We really thought he was sleeping.
Yeah.
You took some shrapnel. There's no doubt about it. People were ready to pounce when all of a sudden you were just gone. And everyone remembered last year when me and Pete were there for a good 90 minutes waiting to get on the stream to embarrass Sean. No one knew where you were. So when you just disappeared this time, the assumption was you were napping again and nobody thought you deserved to sleep. Then you came back. Then you left again.
Yeah.
I feel like next year you need to tell me what your normal Friday schedule is. I'll clear it for you. So your only concern is the show. Because there were minute issues.
I know.
There was a column to write. There was this phone call. You can't leave.
I was also told DA was being a really good guest sleeping at my sister's house and was really not trying to make the bed all nice. And she was the one that said, DA, you got a show to start here. Get the heck out. I'll make the bed. But DA was more willing to do his own room service at Hotel San Mraz.
Yeah, I was making the bed when I left in the morning, and she goes, "Don't worry, DA, I'll do that." I was like, "Are you sure?" I feel bad.
It's 5:57. You should get down the block. Pete's already called 4 times.
She had the earpiece into Pete.